because you can afford it.
Let's go to San Francisco. They made a big splash, bringing in wideout Mike Evans, Tampa Bay's all-time leader in most receiving categories. They also add former Patriot Vidarian Lowe, Kendrick Bourne, Jordan Elliott on their way out of the Bay, but they won't be alone. New on NFL Live, this from our 49ers reporter Nick Wagner. With the new league year set to begin today, the 49ers plan to release wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. Could happen as soon as today, certainly soon either way. Washington, the most likely landing spot for Aiyuk, probably on a one-year prove-it deal. San Francisco expected to use a post-June 1 designation, which is why they had to wait until the new league year began. Aiyuk, expendable now that Evans is in the mix there in San Francisco. Mina, did the Evans deal make sense to you with what they already have there and the offense that they want to run?
This was probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite deals of free agency so far. I mean, it is just perfect. It almost reminds me, this is sound a little weird, of when Derrick Henry joined the Ravens in terms of taking a great, productive player and almost extending his career as he gets to Evans is 32 by putting him in the exact right destination. San Francisco, the need is obvious. Mike Evans, they have needed an X receiver since Aiyuk's been missing for them. And you saw when Aiyuk played with Brock Purdy how important that could be when you have a quarterback in Purdy who, unlike previous Niners quarterbacks, was willing to throw the ball deep, downfield, outside the numbers. Even if Evans has lost a step, last year he was obviously injured, in terms of his ability to separate, he is still going to be effective in this offense because of his contested catch ability, because of what he can do in the red zone. So to me, this is just a perfect fit, perfect player. It's a very team-friendly contract. I could not love it more.
They'll be a scoring machine in San Francisco. They have been one of the better scoring offenses in the NFL since Kyle Shanahan's become their head coach and play caller, and obviously Brock Purdy becoming their starting quarterback. But we're talking about, think of the Rams last year adding Davante Adams, and really where his impact was felt the most. It was down within that 5-yard line area, 7 touchdowns within 3 yards or less. Just scoring machine. And all the other things that it opened up for their run game or Matthew Stafford with their tight ends. That's what Mike Evans is going to be. Kyle Shanahan is going to take him, put him out there by himself like Sean McVay did Davante Adams, and he's going to say, if we get one-on-one, throw it to Mike. Because there's very few corners that can check him at the line in that short space with his frame. And if not, guess what? We'll design some stuff away for a McCaffrey or a Juszczyk or a Kittle. Scoring machine.
You know, you mentioned Davante Adams. It just made me smile because you guys know how much I hate the goal line fade. And a few years ago, I looked at all the data on goal line fades and how inefficient they were. But there were a few exceptions, and Mike Evans was one of those players where it was like, all right, if you're going to throw a goal line fade, if it's Mike Evans, you can go ahead and do it. Similar to what we saw Davante Adams. It's a great comparison with the Rams this year. He caught so many fades. Now you have a player in Evans who can do that as well. He's basically like a power forward down there. I agree with you. I think he's going to be such a nightmare in the red zone for San Francisco. Yeah. And by that, you have to worry about so much else when you're playing the San Francisco 49ers offense. He's going to get a ton of one-on-ones.
Yeah, the creativity, too. He's going to just, you don't have to be creative over here. I can be crazy creative over here.
I think Mina's going to like this number. Evans is the best in-zone target in the league over his career. 80 receptions on in-zone targets since 2014. No one else even has 70. So he's by far has been so good in that area of the field, the most important area of the field. Brandon Aiyuk. So Nick Wagner, the report I was just reading there, he was saying that potentially the Commanders on a one-year deal. They obviously need some weapons for Jaden Daniels. What do you think about Aiyuk trying to make a return to prominence in the league? It wasn't that long ago that he's signing this big deal and
Brandon Aiyuk. Money. So he had the ACL 2 years ago, correct?
Yes.
So 2024, didn't play in the 2025 season. 2023, he was unbelievable. And so if you in Washington, if the likely landing spot, if you can get that version of Brandon Aiyuk, you get a guy that probably is as good as Terry McLaurin. I mean, this guy, when he's healthy, he's one of the best sudden route runners, ball in his hands guys, strong body. I mean, in 2023, he had 75 catches for over 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns. That was on the heels of back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. If you get that version of him, he's healthy and he's in a happy place, you get a true starting number 1 wide receiver in Washington.
Yeah, Adam, what does the market look like for Aiyuk?
Well, first and foremost, I know it says that they're planning to release him, but I'd like to add on that they're not planning to release him anytime soon.
Okay.
They essentially have no guaranteed money left in his contract, so they can hold on to him for the time being. They could hold on to him in the draft and see if they could flip him for a pick at that point in time. They could hold on to him until June. They've paid him an awful lot of money. I don't think this is happening anytime soon, despite the report. And I think that they'll be holding on to him for a little while to see if there's any trade value at all. Washington does make a lot of sense. He played with Jaden Daniels in college. They're very close. Jaden Daniels, I'm sure, would love to play again with Brandon Aiyuk, but I don't get the sense that the 49ers are in any rush to move on from Brandon Aiyuk, even though we know eventually they will.
It's a really interesting dynamic. And Adam, I think, like, when hearing you say that, I thought to myself, yeah, a team should trade for him. I understand all of the murkiness, shall we say, over the last year. But Dan mentioned this. At his peak, he was a true number one. And there are a lot of teams around the NFL that could use his skill set. I'm not talking about meaningful draft capital. Obviously, I'm not talking about like a first or second or third round draft pick. But why not take a shot later in the draft if you're one of those teams and just see if he can return to form?